Excuse me?
Separation, maybe when it comes to the position at wide receiver?
Well, I think everybody, as an offense, as time as we've gone through the offseason program, through all the OTAs, through training camp, now getting to preseason games, I think they've all, as a group, as an offense, have done an outstanding job with the receivers. I think we're moving so many guys around. I wouldn't just say it's one person. It was great to see, Christian make some plays, Chad make some plays. There's a number of guys in different roles, and each week or even in that practice, we're moving so many guys around and playing so many different players. It's hard to say just one guy, but I'm happy with where they're at, and the competition's been great.
Mike, how are guys picking up this offense here compared to other places you've been at?
Well, I think at the end of the off-season program, you look back at things and you say, okay, this is the first year in a system, and there's always concerns about how much you're doing with them. But I'm a strong believer in throwing a lot at them in the off-season so that they hear the install a couple times throughout the offseason. When they first get here, when we're not outside and we're just meeting inside with the players, you teach them those things. And again, the OTAs, the mini camp, you kind of reinstall things, and then you understand, okay, hey, they're learning. I mean, it's hard for us to say that sometimes as coaches. You hear us yelling and screaming out there, and then you get into training camp. And I think the best part about training camp this year is the mistakes have been cut way down. I think they've been dialed in. I think the coaching staff has done an outstanding job at teaching the system to the players, because we have thrown a lot at them. But we're learning a lot about our players, and we're trying to put them all in different positions to see who does what best. So there's there's ups and downs of camp, and at this point.
How much has just Rosen been with digesting everything? Is it incremental here week to week to week, or is he so close to it?
I think all the quarterbacks have done an outstanding job of learning the system. Early on in the off season, there's some mistakes of just, it's the first time they're doing something. And then as you go on, the more you play in the system, the more comfortable you get. And with Josh, I think from the very first day, he asked a lot of great questions. His love for the game and his he wants to be great. And I can't say enough about the quarterback room and the way they all work together, and Byron and everybody in there. But to have two veterans like Sam and Mike in there that are so unselfish, that do it, and they do whatever they can to help the two young guys. And I think that's why both Josh and Chad have played well up to this point in time in the games, because of the help they've got from the veterans, and they're learning from them. And there's going to be the growing pains, like every rookie on our football team. There's the ups and downs. You see him flash. You see Christian do some things in certain routes last week, and it's because he's playing a different speed now because he knows what he's doing, and that's just all part of learning the system. I'll defer all those to Coach. Hey, I've been in that spot before, so you can ask Coach all those questions about players.
How much would it help him and help you guys if he doesn't play?
Every player, in our system, we want to play as much as we can to get a good feel for where they're at in our system. So it's not just a quarterback or the quarterbacks; it's all of them.
There's a lot of talk, or has been a lot of talk about how smart Josh is. You've been around some very good quarterbacks in your career. Can you put in perspective just how intelligent he is?
Well, every player is different, not just the quarterback position. But I think he's done an outstanding job, of gathering information. I mentioned Sam and Mike, the things they tell him, what Byron coaches him, some things I tell him at times. You want a guy to be like that. You want a quarterback. You want all players, really, not just quarterbacks. You want everyone to feel like they can ask a lot of questions and understand. I've always told the players, tell us what you don't know or what you don't understand. What do we got to rep a few more times? What routes have you not seen for certain coverages? Because we can't do it all. There's so many things you're trying to do, and we're rotating everybody through the off-season program and training camp. You just got to keep on learning. But he's a very intelligent person.
Sam hasn't thrown a pass that hits the ground yet.
And why are we talking about it then? That's a good. Let's keep it that way.
So what do you think of the accuracy and decision making you've seen out of him? Everybody talks about Josh because of the situation. Just how good has Sam been?
Well, Sam's been outstanding his entire career. That's the way he's been. His accuracy, the way he can put the ball on a player. Whether it's the guy's covered and he puts it in the right spot, whether it's a back shoulder or low, somewhere to throw a guy open, or you got to make that perfect throw. More often than not, he's made that. And you see the way he's working with these guys out here. But that's the way he's been his entire career. But it's been special to watch, firsthand out here on the field with them.
With the way usually the preseason goes, it's, some of those upper guys might be dialed back for that last game. Do you feel any kind of urgency with anybody on your side of the ball that you not only want to see them, but see them in certain situations for this game, knowing that you may or may not get to see much of them in the last game?
Yeah, I think we've got a plan that the coaching staff, the organization has put together, for what our philosophy is going to be for, week 1 of the preseason through week 4, how we want to play certain players, how much you play each individual. And you're really, from an offense perspective, I want everyone to have success. I want everyone to go out there and showcase their talents and, go up and down the field, whether it's running the football, whether it's throwing it, whether it's blocking up front. You want everyone to have success so that, they make it tough on us as an organization when it comes to cut 53. So, you kind of have a plan for each player on a weekly basis. But, then the defense is going to dictate certain things in progression. So there's certain plays you might be saying, hey, we're trying to get this player the ball or trying to run it this way, and all of a sudden it's a loaded box, so you might throw it more. Or the flow of the game like it's going to be during the regular season. You make a few changes, or you might go down and score one series. The next series you say, hey, we're just going to do this the whole entire time. We're going to throw it every down just to get some work. We're going to run it like we did the first week. That was our plan against the Chargers. We're going to run it as many times as we could that first drive. So we have a plan each week on what we want to do and with each player.
How close is this game to a regular season game, considering you're a couple weeks away, and how valuable can that be in the evaluation process when it comes to it?
I think this game, the third preseason game, is the next step you got to take. Regardless of how long you play each week, we're looking to improve. We're going to be saying the same thing week 4 of the season, week 7 of the season. It's, are we getting better every week? So it really doesn't matter to myself or anybody else as long as we're getting better as a football team and getting ready. The key thing in through training camp and through preseason games is you're getting ready for that opener. That's the most important thing.
What more do you want to see
Just keep getting better every day in the system and everyone around them feeling more comfortable. Because the more you play with one another, the better you're going to feel. I think everybody understands the opportunity when you have a quarterback like Sam Bradford in your huddle, what you can do, not only in the passing game but in the running game. We had a play called the other day when on David's touchdown there. He knew against a certain front this is what we wanted to get to, and that was our game plan going in, and he didn't hesitate. He moved David over and checked to the right play, and the rest is history.
So how open is that receiver room still, the back end of that receiver?
Nothing like competition. I think we're going to have some tough decisions to make, and we got 2 games left to decide that, and a few practices left, not as many practices, but they've got to go out there, and just like everybody else, the entire offense, our entire football team has got to go out and perform. We're going to have some tough decisions to make here, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah, how tough is that as a coach to cut a player has been working so hard and can contribute, and you just got to let some good guys go?
Well, honestly, you'd like to keep all 90. Just for what they've done for our organization the entire year, the amount of effort they've put in from the very first day. Some have been here longer than others. It's tough. This is the hard part of the business. This is the when the players walk in your office and you got to say goodbye to them. Hopefully, some of them you're bringing back in the practice squad, but you just thank them, and you can't thank them enough. They're one of us the entire year. I always tell the players that, hey, you helped us get to where we are today. So, regardless of where we are during the season, you're one of us, and I always tell the player, you're not just playing for us, you're not just working for us. When you play those 4 preseason games, there's 31 other teams that are watching your film. So just go out there and play your tail off every day, and good things will happen for you. Whether it's here or somewhere else, if you go out there and do your job and play at a high level, other teams are going to watch and they're going to see that, and you'll have a job at some point in time, hopefully. But that's the part of the business you don't like.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you very much. See you later.
How you guys doing?
I'm good. All right, we can open up for questions.
Go ahead. It doesn't sound like Dak or Ezekiel was going to play. Does that bother you at all, or the fact that you kind of missed every team's quarterback?
No, it doesn't bother me. We're going to play whoever the opponent puts out there, plain and simple. And, it's an opportunity for us to get better and see where we're at. So we're on the road playing a good football team, and we got to continue to grow as a defense.
But do you wish you'd have had one game in which the number 1 quarterback played 1 snap at least? Yeah.
You know, I think obviously just to see where you're at from a defensive standpoint against a starter, I think there's value in that. But again, it's the preseason, and we're evaluating too. So all of our guys don't always line up and play a bunch of snaps as well.
Where are you guys in terms of your rush defense? Obviously, Steve's talked quite a bit about it. I'm sure it didn't go the way you wanted last game. So kind of how do you see that? Is it a question of guys, not being in the lineup, whether it's injury or just not playing as much, or is there a concern?
No, what we have to do a better job of as a defensive front, as a defense in general, is just in terms of being disciplined in our gaps. That's the biggest thing, and trusting in the system. Guys are in position, and then, somebody gets nosy, jumps out of their gap, and then all of a sudden the ball is on the second level. It's a 15-yard gain. So it's just a matter of trusting in the system and being disciplined within the scheme work, within the frame of the defense, really.
Is it more about not trying to do too much than sometimes trying to make a play instead of?
Exactly. It's doing your 1/11th. And we always preach it and talk about it every day, that every man in our defense is responsible for a gap. So it's just doing your job. I mean, it's as simple as it sounds. That's what it is.
Is there a setback not having those 3 defensive tackles out there for practice right now, or are you just worried about making sure they're ready for the regular season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think number one, we want to continue to evaluate other people on the roster as well, other personnel, other guys at the position. So you always want to be at full strength when you can, but at the same time, it's someone else's opportunity. It's a next man up mentality that we have, and as a defensive whole, we just got to continue to grow and improve.
What have you learned about Chandler Jones that you didn't know about?
He's pretty quiet. He's very receptive to coaching, and he wants to please, and he wants to do things the right way.
What makes him so, from your perspective, good?
Well, I just think, he's smart, number one. And then from an athletic standpoint, he has all the traits. That he's got the size, he's athletic, he's long, he understands blocking patterns. I think all of those things help him become a better player in terms of attacking offensive tackles, tight ends, things like that.
On the back end with looks like three defensive backs maybe in the mix, and certainly 3 safeties that are pretty good. Is that maybe the strength of this defense, or just how good do you think that back end is?
Well, I've been pleased with where we're at as a secondary. There's a lot of competition going on right now, which is still great. So there's a little bit of a training camp mode still going on, and again, if guys are down or not playing as many snaps, it's another man's opportunity. What I like is, guys have been in position, guys have been adjusting and playing with vision on the ball and doing the things that we're asking them to do, and it shows. They're starting to make plays.
With Patrick there, and you haven't had that probably much in your career, a guy with that shutdown ability, what does that allow you to do with everybody else?
Well, obviously, having a player of his talent level allows you to, potentially match him up or do some other things with him. The thing that I love about Pat is he's smart, and he understands man coverage, he understands zone coverage, he understands route concepts. So we can move Pat around and do some different things with him, and I think it's been beneficial. He's been primarily playing on one side of the field since OTAs, and he's embraced that role.
Is this your defense, or is Steve still sticking in his nose?
This is our defense. This is our defense. I'm talking about, this is the Arizona Cardinals defense. It's not my defense. It's not Steve's defense. It's the Arizona Cardinals defense.
But does it resemble a lot the kind of things that Steve likes to do?
Yeah, I mean, the things that we did at the previous stop, it does resemble a lot of those things and those attributes. But again, we're establishing our own identity out here, and the guys have done a pretty good job thus far.
On Sunday night, what's on the checklist? What would you like to see the most, along with rushing, D? What else would you like to see?
Yeah, well, you mentioned it, rushing defense, and then just playing fast. Opportunity to go on the road, communicate, and tackle well. And continue to create the turnovers that we've done thus far in the first two games.
Where do you see the competition left?
To me, Benson's done a fantastic job. Vontarius has done a really good job. and there's some other guys in the mix there as well. So, Benson's had a pretty good 2 days, the last couple of days there, so we're pleased with where he's at. And again, it's a constant battle. It's a constant rotation. It's true. There's no entitlement, and every man's got to come to work every day and earn their right to be on this team and on the field.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks,
Okay, thank you, guys.